Welcome to the Phlarpin Podcast. My name is Jason Smith, or North.
And I'm Jessica, or Mercer Stitch.
And I guess I just wanted to start out by saying a few things, one of which we're trying some different recording equipment, so if it sounds like crap, sorry. We'll go back to the other stuff if it's too bad to bear or I can't fix it in editing. And also, thank you to what I think is a pretty successful grand opening.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a great time. It really brought back a lot of memories. Sitting around the campfire, stuff like that was really. I guess it hasn't really been long enough to be nostalgic, but that's kind of what it felt like.
Right.
Is that it was ages ago that I'd been out on that same property, sitting around the campfire, not in the same exact spot, but it's just wild to be.
Yeah, even with some of the same people.
Mm-hmm.
Valnir
started out there. I mean, there's probably more than There's probably other people, too, that maybe started out there, but I just kept thinking of how, especially on the picture I posted on Facebook, there was a picture of Valnir almost in the same pose as in that other picture that he had out there at the property.
Yeah, making the same face.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and like Gregor and Vix, I think they met on the property, did they not?
Maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I had a really, really good time.
Yeah, I did too.
I didn't regret staying up. I mean, I didn't miss staying up till dawn, though. I knew I was going to end up probably having to do that, but man, that was a lot rougher on me this time around.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'll be all right, but I just need to adjust to it a little bit. And the sodas you had, I didn't realize didn't have caffeine because
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. I was trying to get something that was like neutral, but that was one of the things. People didn't request much for next weekend, but one of them was to have Mountain Dew and a diet option. So I'll make sure I have that for next week.
And then something else too that was requested that I think was kind of interesting was something that would be for people who were vegetarian. I didn't even think about that. So we're going to try to make sure we have something like that out there too.
Yeah.
Which we did have some stuff that was vegetarian, but then
they were allergic to
some
peanut
people
butter.
are allergic
so.
to peanut butter, so that was not a good stand-in.
We'll get it figured out though. Make sure everybody's got something available.
Mm-hmm. And what I was going to say earlier is one thing was really cool was being kind of like what Cage said. I think in our comments, I think it was on YouTube or somewhere, he was saying that it was cool to see people back out in the field again. Oh, he said it in a Phlarp chat, I think it was. And I was like, yeah, that's true. It was really, really wild being back out there initiating people and doing stuff like that out there in the field. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we'll just go through like a rough timeline of the events. So I got there, before obviously the 3:00. I was there pretty early in the morning working on stuff. And people started rolling in around 2 or 3, and we did a little bit of a tour, and I kind of talked to them about role play a little bit. And then the few people that we hadn't ever been to property before, we went ahead and initiated. I think most of those people that hadn't ever been to property before.
Yeah, I think there was like 4 people that went through that process whenever we very first started, yeah.
And did patrol, which was really fun to do again. And then we played, I guess, like 4 or 5 events.
Well, we did, Last Man Standing, Minion, Uno Attack. We did 2 different patrols. One of them was at night. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really interesting. Although I could not see very well under the canopy of the trees.
I could not either.
In the field, my eyes adjusted, and I was able to see there. That's why we played, after we did that patrol, we played a Last Man Standing there in the field at night to give the new person that we were doing the patrol with a chance to do something besides just patrol, and also because we could see in the field.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, walking up there was a little difficult whenever it was completely pitch black, but it is still really cool, though, even whenever it is really dark, because you can, like, look through the trees and see if somebody's, like, moving around and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you might not be able to tell exactly who it is, but you can tell somebody's there, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes it intense, not knowing somebody's there, but not knowing exactly who it is, or, not being able to tell all the details, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to do, I was trying to get him to do the paper goblin roll, which is just basically a part of our initiation patrol thing. And he was like, I can't do it, I can't see. And I was like, whatever, you don't need to see, just Just work your way slowly. It's fine. And then I got in there trying to do it, and I was like, man, I can't see either. I was like, I get it. I get it. But, and then Aragon ended up doing it, and he had a glow stick, and I kind of had what I thought was like a neat idea is sometimes the goblin, when we first see the goblin, they run off. I was thinking it'd be cool to drop glow sticks as like a trail, like so that we can track them with that. We can be like, oh, there he is, you know, or even if we could somehow almost like damage him or something and then make it seem like it was the blood of the goblin that we're actually tracking. I thought, oh, that might be kind of neat, but I don't know. Might not be able to.
I still think it's pretty cool though. And well, I mean, once we get the lights that we want that are the appropriate brightness for the trails and stuff, we might not need that, but until then, that would be cool.
Yeah, that's true. The solar lights on the trail will really make a difference on being able to see where you're going and stuff. And that's something I thought of too, is that the solar lights this time around, we can get really themed cool ones that, you know, because they're theoretically going to be there forever, you know. Like we don't got to worry about investing in, you know, more expensive, nice lights because they are going to be there forever. So
more themed ones that like blend in with the scenery and stuff, where it doesn't just look like a
white solar light.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Something that is more thematic and I guess that's it, thematic.
Yeah.
Medieval fantasy theme. So we played those few games. It did get dark at one point, so we hung a Coleman lantern up in two corners of the event area. That's another thing about this time around that I really enjoy, is the event area doesn't shut down campaign to run, so I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You don't have to, you know, go out in campaign to play an event and figure out how to balance the rules. If you're playing an event, it's totally separate from whatever's going on in campaign.
Right.
So.
And if you don't want to play the event, you can go into campaign and do whatever you're doing out there, and it's fine. Like, you don't have to sit and wait for them to be done, vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did a team battle.
Which is different than, that's not the one with the pool of lives. That's where they get a certain amount of lives per person. Like, so if, you know, you can res like once, I think we said.
Yeah, each person had one res.
Mm-hmm. Which we didn't actually get the winners on that one, right? We didn't write them down.
No, I didn't.
So unfortunately, we do not have the winners, but somebody won, so.
I'll take the blame for that, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get better at it. We had a lot going on, so we kind of dropped the ball on getting too many pictures this weekend, or, you know, like a lot. Because we usually like to take pictures of the winners. So. But yeah, we did the team battle. And then
we played Ravenous once after it got dark.
Oh yeah, Ravenous was really cool, which is basically, it's our version of Mafia or Werewolf, where you're just trying to figure out who killed who. And I was kind of, like before when we played Mafia, sometimes people would say the roles of the Mafia game or accidentally say the roles of the Werewolf game and vice versa, like they would get conflated. Mm-hmm. And I think this time around we did pretty good on staying on theme on our version of it. Nobody got the two confused. Like they were, I think it's cool that went well.
I do think having the music in the background though, like for each time that it's, you know, whoever's character's turn to go, having the music was really helpful. Mm-hmm. Because even if you didn't know exactly what they were called, like hearing the music was enough of a cue, and I think it really set the mood. It was pretty cool to play it that way.
Mm-hmm. And I think it also did, part of the reason why I did that was to keep from using my voice as a way to give away who I was talking to, or my reactions and stuff, and it helped a lot in that regard as well. Mm-hmm. Like where they couldn't just analyze where I was facing based on the sound of my voice and try to figure out who was who based on that. Yeah,
that's true. Well, and having the music there too, like, drowns out any kind of real movement that, you know, if somebody's wearing a scratchy jacket, it might give them away if they're, you know, pointing at somebody.
True. And the only thing I really wish would have went better is, or not better, but what I'd like to do in the future is try to make sure we stay in character whenever we're doing it. But that'll be a little easier when we're actually in the tavern doing it in character. So, because there is like a whole story to it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that went really, really awesome. I had a really good time. I got to play in that, and actually we DM'd it to begin with, and then we ended up letting some players DM. Mm-hmm. Like Lucian, he had never DM'd it, I don't think, before.
I think he did a pretty
really
good job.
Yeah, everybody who was DMing.
Chef
did well.
tried it. He did pretty good. I think he's DM'd before, like a long time ago when we were on property before.
Another thing I really enjoy about our version of it is the cue for everyone to wake up. Instead of saying, everybody wake up, you just stab the person who the mafia killed in the night. So if you're sitting there and you're supposed to be asleep because it's the night phase, you just feel the sword drag across you and you realize, oh man, they killed me. So you just go, ah! And then you see if you got res, because in our game, the doctor doesn't instantly save you. The role of the doctor normally would save you through the night. Well, it doesn't really save you, it just resurrects you after you got killed. Mm-hmm. So you still go through that phase, and then everybody sits and listens to see if you got resurrected, and then they're like, no. Which that only happened, maybe once?
Twice.
Where the doctor
saved himself, and then somebody else got saved too, but I don't remember who it was.
And there was nobody giving away their roles. Like, hardly anybody was doing that, saying, oh, I'm the doctor, I investigate so-and-so. And I think the reason that is because also what we do now is we don't...
Actually, I did that once.
Oh, okay.
Because I, right off the bat, the first 2 rounds, guessed who it was. I got a thumbs up both times. And I was like, I know it's this person and this person. And then I just let it go and let everybody just go back and forth at it. And they all just believe me. Sometimes they don't believe you, though. Mm-hmm. And you gotta, fight for it.
And that's a risky endeavor. What I was saying is, I think this time around, the way we don't reveal who when you mm-hmm. kill someone during the day phase, that we don't reveal what role they were. You don't know if you won until you just win or lose. Like, you'll hear a certain music will play. Like, if the one, it was the medieval version of Bad Guy from Billie Eilish. Uh-huh. Played during the day phase, you knew you were dead. You lost. And then if from the movie Ravenous, which is roughly what this is, our version is based on, there's a song called Void's Journey. When that one plays, the heroes win. So it's that. I think all the music and everything, all that incorporated really well into a neat game.
Yeah,
it was pretty fun.
And I think the extra roles that you added in there, I think that. Next time we play that, we should probably do it the same way where we start off with the basic ones and then, gradually add in the extra ones. But I think the extra ones are fun. Yeah.
Especially that they don't add, the hidden dagger and the, what was the other one, the crossbow. They don't add anything to the DM's responsibility. Right. They don't even know. I didn't even know. There was one game where I thought the heroes lost because there were... Mm-hmm. There was one, and then they ended up. Everybody died. Didn't everybody die?
Twice it was that the heroes were supposed to die, and it wound up being Valnir was one of the Wendigos or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was supposed to die, and I threw that at him, and I was like, "Swap!" And it was him, and he died, and so the heroes won. And then Lady Elizabeth did the same thing. Nice. I guess she's not a lady anymore, but Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. She did the same thing, and it was Valnir that time too, which I thought was funny.
And for some context, the hidden crossbow allows you to, whenever you die, take somebody with you. Yeah. And so I thought, like you said, I thought they had lost, but then you ended up killing the Wendigo. So, so really, the heroes won, or at least killed everybody. I guess everybody died. I can't remember. Did everybody die that time, or did the heroes win?
The heroes won.
Because there's one more human left alive. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
I felt really bad, though, because I was like, just kind of slung the card at him and hit him right on top of the head. I was like, oh, dang, maybe we shouldn't throw the cards. It just make the noise.
Just quip.
Yeah. But campaign was fun. Did you have any cool campaign interactions?
I mean, I only had one, and I don't know how cool it was, and I'm metagaming by even, explaining what happened, kind of. Because when we went on that night patrol, or no, it wasn't the night patrol, it was the first one. So it was still daylight out. I was like, oh, I got to go get my swords because I left my swords out there. So I paid somebody a copper. I was like, hey, I'll give you a copper to go help me find my swords. And on my way, I'm walking to find my swords. And then Valnir or somebody had one of them. And I was like, oh, hey, can I have that sword? And they're like, no. And they're like, it's mine now. And I was like, well, I'll pay you this copper for it because I was going to pay the other person a copper per sword anyway. So I gave that person a copper. So I had one sword. And my one escort still. Mm-hmm. And we were going to go out and campaign, and Argus come up, and he's like, oh, didn't you need help? And I was like, oh, I already got help. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, you already got your swords? And I was like, well, I did, but it's because somebody was coming back with one. He's like, well, I'll help you for free. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we went out and campaigned, and we're walking, we're all the way out in the field, and we're walking, and all of a sudden I feel bang in my back. And it was just me, Argus, and Dokja, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And my mind was immediately like, wow, who snuck up that well that they jumped out and killed me before I could even tell what was going on. I didn't even hear them.
Because you had 2 other people with you, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I die. I turn around, but like in the process of dying, I turn around and look and see who killed me, and I'm like, freaking Argus just decides to betray me, which, like I said, is metagaming. In-game, he killed me clean enough that I would not have known.
Yeah.
And Dokja was just sitting there with this weapon on his head, looking at me like, we're dead, bro.
So you got both of you?
Yeah, he like killed us both.
That's funny.
And then he said, I'm getting my copper either way, and he looted me.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I didn't go back out there, which maybe I should have, because I think some fangs showed up and were trying to fight me, but I ended up going back to town. So
yeah,
but that was the one little interaction I had in campaign that was kind of neat.
I had a cool interaction with Agama after. Was that after the first patrol?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know, but they're like. Campaign begins, and they did the countdown or whatever, and Agama was walking behind me, and I was walking back into town. I said, I was just kind of joking, and I said, don't kill me, Agama, I'm unarmed. And he said, oh, don't worry about it. And I just kept walking or whatever, and then he hit me right in the back, and I was like, oh, dang. Mm-hmm. And I like played my death, and I was like bit down, and he leans down and hands me a copper, and he said, here for the ferryman.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, a little confused, because I thought, why would you kill somebody and then make sure they make it safe? But all right, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works. That softens the blow a bit.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to RP, which I think is cool. So I stuck it in between my glasses and my eye and walked back to the res point, and I was like wandering around like I was lost and I couldn't see because I only had one of them covered and the other one wasn't.
I actually saw you when you were doing that and thought someone was wrong with your eye, and I got close enough to see what it was, and I was like, oh, okay, there's a copper in there.
Yeah.
That is kind of cool, though.
But like you've said before, I think especially whenever it's just you and the other person, and they're trying to roleplay with you, or they, you have some kind of interaction with them, it is just for the benefit of you and that person. Like, especially if somebody's going to initiate some type of roleplay with you, like, what does it hurt you to roleplay with them instead of just being like,
like abstaining from role playing is not really beneficial. Like, you can do it, but all you gotta do is.
It makes it not fun though.
Yeah,
like it is way more fun whenever different people are interacting with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I agree. And then, so we did the nighttime initiation. We had a new guy show up, and then he wanted to plan an event, and I was like, well, normally we do patrol with people before we plan events with them, so let's do this nighttime. I was like, is he okay with just doing like a nighttime initiation as your event? And he's like, yeah, sure. And so it was like, what was it, like 3 o'clock in the morning when we did that? 3 or 4 in the morning?
Yeah.
And we went and did that nighttime initiation, which was really neat. Although, like I said, it was hard as heck to see. And then we kind of just sat around and talked and stuff. I think mostly we talked for the rest of the evening, just kind of talking. Mm-hmm. We did have a war council meeting, which I skipped. Not like I was there, but I just forgot to mention it. We did have a war council meeting too. It was kind of out of character because we were establishing what would work for people as far as the schedule for when to have the hierarchy events and the Battle for the Crown, which will be the end of the month. So the last Saturday of each month, we will have some sort of big event.
So if you're wanting to be in the first hierarchy battle, you need to get hired by a clan or start one soon.
Mm-hmm. And the first hierarchy battle, next week, I will have the positions of the clans pretty much figured out. Like, meaning, what I mean by that is most everything I do is tentative. But I will know where I want them to be, and I'll see if the players agree with that.
Okay.
And then if they do, we'll have the hierarchy battle still, or we'll figure it out before the end of the month. And then at the end of the month, we'll have the hierarchy battle. And that first hierarchy battle will actually determine who gets to pick first within the positions available. it also sets their number or rank within the hierarchy, which right now doesn't mean too much except for bragging rights, basically.
Yeah.
There is a slight mechanic within all the rest of the hierarchy battles and the first battle for the crown that both the hierarchy battles and battle for the crown, excluding this first one, if you win that, you move one up in the hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't move your actual position anywhere, like your actual physical keep. It doesn't get moved, but your position within the hierarchy does.
Right.
And so that kind of makes it to where it's harder for people to have alliances, is the whole point of that, because then the people above you are always looking out to make sure you don't win, because if you do, you're going to push them down.
Right.
And you're always worried about the people underneath you, because if they win, they'll push you down.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, the people below you will push you
you
down, and the people above you don't want to be pushed down.
Yeah, so the people right around your position, you can't really align with them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And even if you did align with them and you won once, it would immediately change. Like, let's say you were in third and you aligned with fifth, because it's not going to matter for either one of you. If either one of you wins that one, or I guess if your positions change at all, then you can no longer have that hierarchy, or that alliance, rather.
I mean, you can, but it's not very beneficial.
Yeah, because then you're going to be battling somebody else.
Right. I did want to mention, again, I don't know if we've mentioned it on the podcast before or not, but at the property, the marshals can't play in events.
Yeah, that's true.
And I did miss that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for next weekend to be able to go out into campaign, because I can participate in campaign. So
yeah, and really me and you and like other people that are marshals should probably work together a little bit when we go out there, unless we're going to hire people, which we can do that too. That's a way of putting money in the game.
Yeah.
But us being in a quote-unquote clan together probably is more... we may need to use that to our benefit going out there, because we can't really level. I mean, you can... I guess you get abilities, sort of. But I don't even really take abilities, so if I go out there, I'm at a major disadvantage.
Yeah.
We're almost better off just hiring people, even if we have to hire everybody to fight the Fangs. Because they're going to be the ones gunning after me. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I think they might be completely full, or at least close to it.
I think they have 6 right now. That I'm aware of. I mean, I don't know. They might have 12 more people lined up that I don't know nothing about.
Mm-hmm. And then another cool thing was some faces that I hadn't seen in a really long time. There were a few people out there that I hadn't seen for a long time, like since property before.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Theo, I hadn't seen him since we started back at the park. He was there for a couple weeks, but he came back out last night. And then Malachi, I'm trying to just use character names here.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen him in a little while. Yeah, and like I said, also sitting around the fire and talking and just like smelling the campfire, it was awesome. Like when I went home to take a shower and the water hit my hair, that smelled like campfire, cedar fire, or whatever. And I was like, man, I miss that.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be cool once we get all the like little outbuildings built and people can have their keeps up, and I think it'll encourage more campaign. Dude, night campaign can be so fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then how did it go at the park the next day?
It went pretty good. We did have a very low turnout, although I thought mainly that was going to happen anyway, because I figured the people that stayed up real late wouldn't come out to the park, although Heston did, and so did Lucian, and they had stayed up all night. So I thought, well, that's pretty cool that they went home, got some sleep, and come right back up there. So
yeah, I wish I could have.
Yeah, it's too rough on you.
Yeah, I came home and took my medicine, and I fell asleep, and I had my alarm set, and I slept right through it.
As soon as my head hit the pillow, I was out whenever I got home.
Yeah.
And then Lynn woke me up at about 11. It was like 12:20. That's what it was. She's like, "Hey, it's 12:20. You want something to eat?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then so I got up, went up there. But we only played a couple of events. We played Last Man Standing, and then what I intend on doing is taking a little bit of a break in between. I don't want to cram a million events in at the park. We did have 2 people create gladiator characters, which is kind of neat, to see that start. And then, but yeah, we were going to take a little break and then play another one. And then people were afraid, I guess, that the second one was going to end too quick. So they were like, let's play a 2-hour scramble. And I was like, okay. So I just started a scramble without a timer. And then we just went, because I was like, right, we're not playing on 2 hours or whatever. I mean, I just didn't expect it to last 2 hours. But it lasted like an hour, like maybe about an hour or so. They did play scramble.
That's a long time to play scramble.
Mm-hmm. And then...
it can be really fun, though. I think Scramble's a fun game. I know some people it's not their favorite, but I actually really like Scramble. I think that you can try different things out. You can...
It's a low-pressure situation.
Yeah. You can... And I also, like I've said before, I think that it gives you the opportunity to see how other people think and how they fight against other players.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're kind of on a team for a short time, and they'll have a plan for this or that, and you kind of learn how they think about stuff. So then, whenever the tables are turned, if you pay attention to the way that they do stuff, you might be able to use that to your advantage.
Mm-hmm. It's a good opportunity, to learn people's fighting strategies and techniques and stuff. That is true. But yeah, I'm hoping the park picks up a little bit more, and I think it was just like the grand opening, so a lot of people were already just really tired from having been out at the park or at the property. Like Torvald, he usually shows up at the park, but I don't think was he there? Can't remember if he was there or not. I think he was. I can't remember. Anyway.
Torvald, you're still important.
Yeah, I'm hoping though it picks up at the park. People still play that. I'm not trying to pull away from the park. I still want to maintain a presence in the park for sure and have fun there. I think some people want to pause it. I did want to do just a special shout out to Rose, who won Last Man Standing at the park, first place. So I think Trinity got second and Heston third.
Dang.
But yeah, Rose won at the park.
Congrats.
So a woman can indeed win Last Man Standing. Yeah. So anyway, like Scoob, let's get out of here.
We hope you keep listening.
And we hope you keep fighting in the name of our town of Darvishan and Evermore.
And we hope to see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on the Phlarp Podcast. Remember, our epic battles and immersive role-playing sessions unfold every Saturday from dawn until Sunday at dawn at 1024 Florence Freeway in Park Hills, Missouri, followed by a lively gathering at the park from 1 to 2 on Sundays. Be sure to mark your calendars. For those eagerly awaiting our next episode, fear not. We release new podcasts monthly featuring player suggestions, insightful discussions, and a dive into the comments from our previous episode. I'm your host, North, alongside the ever-daring Mercer Stitch, guiding you through the fantastical world of Phlarp. Until next time, may your quests be epic and your rolls be ever in your favor.